Hello, everyone. All right, my name is Ress, and this is the Rest is History. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about my very own rest theory, which is where I research, evaluate, and then summarize my theory. Now, this theory is going to contain three parts: the Simpsons, Cern, and Stephen Hawking. Now, let's get right into the video. Okay, in order for you to fully understand this video, I'm going to need all eyes and ears right now. I need you to pay full attention to what I'm about to tell you. Okay, so the first branch is Cern. Now, Cern is basically an organization that studies nuclear research. It's a European organization. Now, this is centered in Geneva, Switzerland. They have an entire particle accelerator underground, right under the city. More specifically, CERN is an organization that actually smashes particles together in a huge particle accelerator. This particle accelerator is 17 miles long underground. The Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, is massive. It cost $4 billion to build. And it wasn't just CERN that was funding this experiment. 21 different countries actually just fund CERN so that they can build huge particle accelerators like the Large Hadron Collider and a future one called the FCC, or Future Circular Collider. One is 17 miles long, and then the other is 100 kilometers long. And they're going to be attached to each other in some way. So I can only imagine what they're going to do in the future. But stay tuned, because this is going to blow your mind. Okay, so I bet you're wondering exactly how CERN works. So I'm going to dumb it down into a couple minutes where I can kind of explain to you what they do. So basically, they take tiny, tiny protons and they actually speed them up on this particle accelerator going 99.999% of a light year. Okay, that's fast. Now, in perspective of how fast this particle is going, so this tiny particle goes around this particle accelerator 11,243 times in just 1 second. What's actually accelerating the particles is this thing called radio frequency electric fields, and giant magnets are actually what's steering the proton, if y'all can kind of understand it that way. Now, once they have these protons going almost a light year of speed, they smash them together and then actually examine all of the matter that comes out of it. And what comes out of it is this thing called a Higgs-boson particle. Now, this was only theorized by a man named Peter Higgs in 1964. So no one really thought this would exist, but scientists at CERN found it and discovered it in 2012. So now that we kind of understand what CERN is and what they're doing with these particles and what comes out of it, the Higgs boson, now I need you to remember what the Higgs boson is, because it's going to go play into the rest of this theory. Now for the second part of this theory, Stephen Hawking, okay? Stephen Hawking, as we all know, is a physicist, and he is one of the smartest people to ever walk this earth. Now, he didn't even believe that this Higgs boson particle, or God particle, would exist. He wrote a book in 2014 called Starmus, where he predicted that this Higgs boson particle would actually create a quantum fluctuation that created a black hole in our universe and sucked everything inside of it. It's also weird that coincidentally Stephen Hawking lost his ability to speak at CERN in Geneva, Switzerland. Yeah, he was visiting CERN and then lost his voice after he somehow contracted pneumonia, and then scientists had to perform a tracheotomy on his throat, which then made him lose his voice. So there's a lot of those one eyebrow things where you're like, what the? Yeah, you're like, I can't do it. Stephen Hawking losing his voice at CERN is a pretty weird coincidence, since he said that they could actually end the world. Now, stay with me, because there's still a third part to this theory, okay? It's the Simpsons, okay? Now, I'm repping the Simpsons right now because I think they're the biggest piece to this puzzle. No one knows why they keep on predicting everything. So in 1998, in season 10, episode 2, called The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, Homer Simpson becomes an inventor. Now, we all know that Homer Simpson is as dumb as a bag of rocks. Like, we would not take his word at all for anything that he says, because we know he's stupid. Well, in this episode, whenever he's actually smart, he actually wrote an equation on a chalkboard which equaled almost the exact mass of the Higgs boson particle. Yes, the same Higgs-boson particle that CERN discovered 14 years later in 2012. I know, it's weird. I don't know how to explain it to y'all. It's a weird coincidence. I think it's weird that the Simpsons have predicted the mass of the Higgs boson particle. Stephen Hawking warned that this Higgs boson particle could end the entire universe, and the Simpsons almost predict everything. I don't know about y'all, but it sounds like to me that there's some time traveling going on. Yes, I know it sounds stupid, but could CERN be where they're time traveling from? I don't know. Is all this money really going into particle accelerators, or are they secretly putting more funds into a time traveling machine? No one knows. Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit creepy. Okay, in an episode called Holidays of Past Future, season 23, episode 9, The Simpsons actually had an episode of what the future would be like. So in this episode, there is a quick image of what the city hall would look like in the future. Now, the first thing that popped up on this hologram that was in front of it was this weird symbol. Now, not a lot of people are going to know what this symbol is. It kind of looks like some Hindu lady. Well, it's actually the Hindu goddess Shiva. Now, she is the destroyer and creator of the universe. You know what's kind of weird also? Is that that's the statue outside of CERN. Now, I hope all of you out there are catching along on what I'm trying to say. This is all weird. It's all connected. From the Higgs boson particle to the end of the world theories, I mean, it's all connected. And I have so much more to share with y'all. So much more. So please hit that like and subscribe button. Please leave any comments of any questions or any clarification that you need on the next video. Now, my next video is going to be about Shiva. More about that symbol that the Simpsons showed and what's outside of CERN. Okay, now this is where it can get a little bit confusing. So, in 2018, CERN actually had another science experiment where they actually put plasma into the particle accelerator in order to try and get the protons moving faster and shorter lengths of distance. Now, in doing this, pictures were taken above CERN in Geneva, Switzerland, and the pictures are right here. Y'all can see it for yourselves. The storm doesn't look normal. That is just what a little tiny effect of what this particle accelerator can do. Now, keep in mind, this is the 17-mile-long particle accelerator. In 2040 or 2050, they're building a bigger one. Okay, this is called the Future Circular Collider. Now, the scary part is that what if whenever they test this particle accelerator for the first time, Stephen Hawking's prophecy or prediction comes true? What if this is what creates the quantum fluctuation, which creates a black hole that sucks up the entire universe? Now, you remember whenever that picture that scientists took of a black hole recently? What if that was just another Earth-like planet that is doing the same thing CERN is doing? Ever thought about that? Like I said at the beginning, the rest is history.